Greetings and good vibes, everyone. It's your girl Meg, host of Freedom for All, brought to you by the Leon Block Independent Media. I'm an investigative reporter, and I'm here to expose the hard truths that officials work tirelessly to hide from us. It's time to shed light and provide a way for citizens to take their lives back. We want freedom for all. We cover topics like police officer-involved cases of police brutality, incidences of racism, world issues and news, and resources to provide you with the tools to know your rights and more. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube to listen and watch us on the daily. Search the Leon Block Independent Media or just search Freedom for All. It's all about building and sharing knowledge, y'all. We must empower, connect, build community, and show unity. For on the path we meditate, to keep being we celebrate, for in spirit we liberate, so we may educate. Because to guide we must educate. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's your girl, Meg, joined by co-host Jontel. Thank you for joining us today, Jontel. How are you doing?
I can't complain. It's rainy over here, but it's one of those cozy, hoodie type of jaws. So I can't complain. I'm cozy. I'm well. I'm blessed, highly favored. Thank you for having me, Meg. It's a pleasure to always be on your show and see you blossom.
Oh, well, thank you so much, love. I greatly appreciate you. Today we are back with another webisode, bringing you all the details on individuals that are fighting for freedom and social injustices around the globe. Know that at the Leon Block, that is one of our sole purposes, to shed light into a dark world that others feel too uncomfortable to talk about. We are here to get uncomfortable, to elevate to our larger realm of consciousness, to arm ourselves with knowledge, because if we don't know better, we can't do better. If we aren't in the know, then we can't change or demand change appropriately. So we must be clear and understand what the fundamental problem is, and understand that the root of the problem is the system. The only way we will have change and reform of these systemic disparities is if we bring in clear, competent leaders and commit to the long haul. This is a marathon and not a sprint. We must connect through community. Our communities are hurting. We need compassion, layers of support, and to show more grace and humanity. Mm-hmm. We are here we're on a mission here, as you know, Jontel, to bridge the gap between our community resources available and our communities that need those resources the most. That's whether right. That be in our backyard or yours, that is our purpose, to be the bridge. And we could not do what we do without your donations and support. Our payment options are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Also, don't forget to set your notifications to know when we're live, and like and subscribe to view more of your favorite social injustice freedom fighter.
to advertise your business to a diverse and conscious audience? Are you looking to give back to your community or have your voice heard? The Leon Block is looking for you. We want to provide people and small businesses with more traffic while connecting more people from all backgrounds, as well as integrating viewers more into what we do. Community is everything. Will you join us in helping build a better community? Leon Block Independent Media Group is a grassroots independent media platform by the people seeking to fill the gaps news deserts have created. Left and socialist leaning, we are pro-black, and we cover stories of police brutality, human rights, environmental issues, racism, and more in a more in-depth way that the mainstream can't, won't, and doesn't provide. Our mission is to change the way citizens look at media, to embolden everyone to take part in politics and become an integral and active part of their community, to enrich all of our lives, and to combat racism. We focus on police-involved cases and incidents of racism, spirituality, world issues and news, history, music and art, environment, and many more. The Leon Block Independent Media is a network providing press, arts, and other media and resources aimed to better reconnect the most oppressed. We run daily web shows through social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and post information about current events or simple memes to make you think. We try to target different audiences, and we do not censor anyone as we seek to provide truth that mainstream media does not. Check out our websites. You can also reach out to us via email or text. And if you'd like to reach out for more information or more information on our sponsorship opportunities as well, please hit us up through text at 484-909-0873. Hope to hear from you. Looking to advertise your business to a diverse and conscious audience?
Alrighty, we are back. This afternoon, evening, whenever you are watching, we are going to be discussing a huge topic that directly impacts a lot of families throughout the nation, which is mass incarceration. Without mass incarceration by itself is just like a huge blow to anyone's, ego, because it has taken up so much space in the world, whether it be, a loved one that we have that is gone and been lost within the system. There's so many people that have been directly impacted that have been silenced. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Have you been directly impacted by incarceration whatsoever, Jontel?
As far as myself in adulthood, a little bit, yes. As far as growing up like other people, as far as like directly being involved, a lot of people grew up having a parent or both parents in prison. In some ways, I haven't had that happen to me. I can't tell that tale. However, I know many people that do. So yeah.
It's so crazy because to be where I'm at today and to be born into a family, that this was typically normal for the people to be, incarcerated due to, either faults of their own or, beyond themselves. But when I was a fun Meg fact, you have your Jontelism. This is my Megism, is
Yes.
that whenever I was born, my dad was on the run. And yeah, and so he was there at my birth, but he had to leave shortly thereafter. He could not stay for a very long time, and so that's what I was born into. And even when my dad passed away in April, now granted he had been incarcerated in and out my whole life, but in April he was on the run. And so mass incarceration in general has affected me personally, and definitely how I look at the system. I was still raised that the police, officers are there to help you. But until I was an adult, I really didn't, have the full clarity of they are not there to help you. They are there to criminalize you.
Mm-hmm.
So we all heard the phrase mass incarceration, but what does that really mean? So to simply put it is the shorthand for the fact that U.S. incarcerates more people than any nation in the world. We hold 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's mass incarceration. That is absolutely insane. And what's so, horrible about that is that there is a lot of, white on white crimes, but by population, the Black and brown communities are definitely more significantly impacted by mass incarceration.
Yep.
Which is insane. There's no reason, there's no causation for justification of, any of these things to happen. It's the same with police officer involved shootings, with it being mental health involved. It's all, intertwined, and there's layers to it. So, my questions, I guess, was what causes mass incarceration? And although the war on drugs had sparked a significant incline in mass incarceration, there are 3 factors that sustain its impact. Number 1 is over-policing in redlined and marginalized communities. So they're profiling low-income communities.
I think you meant over policing, but the word policing does ring true. It's, I would say, under policing and over policing.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Yes, you're right. And also longer sentencing for minor crimes and endless restrictions after being released. Meaning,
on drugs.
Once you were in the system, it is almost impossible to be freed from those shackles that you are bound to. A lot of people, if they, are criminalized at a young age, they are criminalized until the day they die. And it's really hard to get out of it once you're in it. The effects of incarceration are huge. People are, let's see here, and also what our children are going through. These children of, the men and women that are incarcerated, they are forever directly impacted. They're being raised without a mother, father in the home. Their housing is definitely impacted because, if you rip them, the prime sole, provider out of the household. And mass incarceration also has long-term psychological effects that contribute to a range of health issues, including mental health disorders, diabetes, asthma, hypertension, HIV, hepatitis C, MRSA.
And that means they're creating generational trauma.
Exactly.
But think about the generational trauma that was already stored in, Black and brown people's bodies prior to mass incarceration.
Right. By the police being, back in the day, what their main sole, job description was to be slave catchers.
Yep.
And so
that was what police were born out of, was to catch slaves. It morphed into what we know of as policing today.
Right. And a lot of those, mindsets of those police officers that, especially those departments that were the slave catchers, that's their same mindset. Until they take somebody that's really progressive about change and reform, it's always going to remain that, the mindset, because generational curses, as we know, are very hard to break.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution to mass incarceration, how can we stop it? I guess is we always want to bring the solution in both sides of the story. We are not saying in any way that people don't deserve to be imprisoned due to heinous serious crimes. What we are saying is that for minor offenses and people being jailed for 5 to 10 years, it's failing us as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can eliminate prison for lower level crimes, if we could reduce sentence minimums and maximums currently on the books, Pennsylvania has a 5 to 10 year minimum maximum sentencing guideline. Now, if we were just talking about on, I believe it was T with Alabama, you can get charged the exact same consequence or with the exact same incident, and you could be sitting in jail for 20 years down there. That's how far, they're very behind. So we need to make changes retroactive. We need to bring these, concerns to our council people, to our state representatives and local government. We have to stand together and come together across all lines of diversity to really speak for these people that have been directly impacted. It does not feel good. I've lost a job because my dad had made poor decisions, in Missouri, where I'm from. And that's humiliating. It's embarrassing. And it doesn't make you feel good as an individual, whether you're guilty of the crime or not. Like, I didn't do anything to, be looked at a certain kind of way. I've done everything right up until, this point to try to change the narrative on my own situation. So it's uncomfortable situations that, make us grow, and we have to talk about it. And a lot of people, until after my dad passed away, they had no idea. And that's what really makes my story powerful, is because it's a perfect example of where I could have been versus where I am.
Right.
So we have to, talk about it, and definitely, share our testimonies, because test into testimonies, trials into triumphs. And I truly believe that. So the negative effects of mass incarceration. Now, although these laws do help keep crime off the street, they've done more harm than good for our country. Mass incarceration is a major issue in America. It leads to poverty, broken families, money wasted, and many other problems. And a good factor that the general public does not know is jails are for profit. The in-house medical providers are for profit. If you're building a bigger jail, and just to bring it into a bigger realm, if you're building a bigger jail, the stakeholders involved in the building and investments of that new jail will want the beds filled. If the beds are not filled, they will be losing money. Think about that for a second.
Think about the fact that the 13th Amendment, the clause in there is accept punishment for labor, right? And think about the cheap labor that factories and corporations get out of all these prisoners, quote unquote prisoners in jail. Right. Now think about how these stakeholders are investing in making sure those beds are filled, and then white people, poor people in rural areas are taught to think that there's welfare queens in the inner city that are breeding crime and taking all their money, and then they end up seeing all these black men at the local prisons, and they get a job as a security guard or whatever, a correctional officer, and they're sitting there around all these black and brown prisoners. How do you think they're treating them? How do you think the system is looked at? This is modern day slavery.
100%. And look at the people in jail that are working to just get, for time, just to get over the time that they have been sentenced to. They're getting paid next to nothing. It is modern day slavery. They are the slaves of the prison.
Yep.
And that's why they want to keep people incarcerated, is so they are still made slaves to the facility. And if we don't talk about it, people are not going to know. I didn't know, and I'm involved in this realm. So I couldn't imagine not having a clue. And it's easy to turn your head and say, oh, this doesn't affect me. Well, guess what? There's people that it really does affect, and that's babies, little kids that don't deserve to have their families taken from them. Where is the re-entry, part of incarceration? Where is the, making people build and evolve as individuals and making them better people and successful and changing their mindset to break generational curses, to help their mental health, their spiritual health? There's a lot of things that definitely need to be looked at, and a lot of things are being overlooked at this point. So we're going to post the links in the comments to check it out. And this is the prisonpolicy.org reports. They have a whole huge layout of data that was presented, and it's called the Whole Pie of 2022. And it is the up-to-date data on mass incarceration. And this has always been something, very close to my heart, because I've dealt with it, from a very, long period of time. Now, also to mention, nearly 40% of the U.S. prison population, which is 576,000 people, are behind bars with no compelling public safety reason, according to a new report from the Brennan Center for Justice at New York University School of Law. The first of its kind analysis provides a blueprint for how the country can drastically cut its prison population while still keeping crime rates near historic lows. Check it out, y'all. Stop turning your heads. Become informed. Arm yourself with knowledge, because that is the only way that we're ever going to get any kind of change, is to be the change. If you can't see the bridge, be the bridge. That's what we're here for. So let's take a commercial break and we will be right back. Yes, that is the only way that you can help be part of the change, is to get involved. And we definitely appreciate all the support and love from our community. And also, don't forget to set your notifications when we're live so you can stay up to date on all your favorite social injustices and government corruption. You have any comments, Chantel?
Well, mass incarceration is a very, very deep and layered subject, and definitely look out for more in-depth commentary and facts and charts and information, statistics, and more numbers on T. And we will have a few more episodes coming, like one concerning Akron that will dive into it as well. And look for more talks concerning this topic here on the broader network of the Leon Block Independent Media as well, because this is something that speaks to the epitome of why we do what we do. Independent media is important, and this is one of the biggest issues that a lot of poor people, dispossessed, and black and brown, and black people specifically face. So I just had to say that this is an episode that you want to share far and wide, and make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube, set the notifications on Facebook, so that when we do go live for Freedom for All, that Urban Conservative, T, and Revolution Newslink, and State of America, that you are locked in so that you can catch all of the episodes when they are released. Appreciate the love, y'all. Appreciate the love, Meg. Thank you.
Yes, always. So the word of the day, I feel like if I can broaden my knowledge every single day, then I'll be a very wise person by the end of my day. So the word of the day today is strategic propaganda. That has been something that's been spoke about over and over again. Strategic is to plan out, of course, but propaganda being, mind control. It's deliberate, systemic attempts to shape one's perception, manipulation, and control. To me, the first thing I think of is mainstream media, because they want to paint the picture before the true facts are in front of them. And a lot of this, you don't hear a lot of mass incarceration talk. You don't hear a lot of the things we talk about until, you know, we were talking, it's, for an example, Jaheim McMillan. We were speaking about him before it even went on mainstream. And that's, you know, that's bringing the truth and the facts and everything that you need to know right to your door, right to your couch, right to wherever you are. And we have to arm ourselves with knowledge. So the more that we can grow together, the better that we can, you know, grow together. Let's get it.
Right.
So with that being said, I thank you so much for rocking with us today. We appreciate you guys. And I mean, as always, on the path we meditate, to keep being we celebrate, for in spirit we liberate, so we may educate. To guide we must educate. It's been a pleasure I hope it's been a pleasure for everyone. I hope you enjoyed, was entertained, and educated. Have a great day, y'all.